Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, I will be doing my preview for the upcoming match between the Waratahs and the Crusaders. But if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. But nonetheless, let's get straight into this preview. Right, so this game, it is the second game of the Saturday taking place at LEICHHART Oval. So it is a home game for the Waratahs, and they will be looking to use every inch of their home advantage, try and get themselves a win over a tough side in the Crusaders. But throughout this preview, first of all, we will be looking at the three previous fixtures for both of these sides, followed by three key players that I feel will be able to perform well in this matchup. And then after that, we are going to be doing our prediction of the score margin, see whether or not we can get it right. But nonetheless, looking through at the previous three games for the Waratahs, they did have a win over the Fijian draw, 38 points to 14, followed by a game up against the Western Force, in which they were able to win at 41 points to 28. And then the Trans-Tasman side of things came around, and they did have a very tough opposition in the Chiefs, and in that game up against the Chiefs, they were defeated 27 points to 51. So a great game for the Chiefs, but actually a pretty decent performance from the Waratahs. I know that it sounds weird to say when a side has conceded 50 points in a matchup, but the Waratahs, to score 27 in that game, they were also doing some very good things throughout that matchup. And one thing that I was very impressed with for the Waratahs was just the structure of their backline. When they started putting the passes together, it just looked like every time they were going to be able to go through and score themselves a try. And to be fair, most of the time they did. It was just that they didn't really have enough of that ball to be able to make the most of it. But those are the three recent fixtures for the Waratahs. Now the Crusaders, they were able to get themselves a win over the Hurricanes, 24 points to 21. But then that day happened at Orange Theory Stadium. The Crusaders beaten by the Blues, 23 points to 27, which we thought might have knocked the confidence a little bit of the Crusaders. But then they came out up against the Rebels, and they were able to get themselves a 42 point to 17 lead. And it actually took them quite a while to build into that game. It seemed like it was a slow, methodical pace for a start. Pablo Matera was absolutely sensational in that matchup. But in the end, the Crusaders, second half, they were just on another level and got themselves a majority of their points. But those are the recent three fixtures. Now we look through at three key players for both of the sides that I feel will be able to perform well throughout this game. Looking through, first of all, I have gone with Jed Holloway. I feel like he's going to be pretty key in the line-out, definitely up against the likes of Sam Whitelock. If they do end up going head-to-head, he is certainly going to have to use that height that he's got and also that determination to be able to win a line-out up against a very tough man in the opposition. And the next name that I've got, it is Michael Hooper. I easily could have gone Charlie Gamble, though, because he has been in some very good form. But I feel like Michael Hooper, up against the best sides, that's when he plays his best. And that is going to be the Crusaders through and through for this matchup. I think he's going to be a nuisance in the breakdown, really cause the Crusaders some problems, and that could lead to a couple penalties going the way of the Waratahs. Then the last name that I've got on the list is Jake Gordon, very experienced halfback, and will be in for a tough day at the office. Now we know how quick the Crusaders' backs are. The likes of Sever Reese, Will Jordan, all those guys are going to be lurking for that interception if they get the opportunity to, which is why Jake Gordon, no cutout passes, none of those, because they normally end in an interception and the Crusaders scoring a try. They don't want any of those, though, throughout that game. And if they can avoid those, the Waratahs, they should be able to keep themselves close in this fixture. Now, the Crusaders, three players that I have highlighted as guys who I think will be able to do well. First of all, Cody Taylor. I have said that in a rolling maul for this game, he will be one of the keys. And also, just in the running game, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him running down the wing in this matchup, just because he loves getting that space and the opportunity to be able to show off that impressive pace that he has got for a front rower. Then the next name that I have got, it is Pablo Matera. I felt like I couldn't leave that man out after the way that he played last week. Had a man of the match performance, did everything but score a try. This week, I think, is going to be Pablo Matera's time up against the Waratahs. Then the last name on the list that I have got for the Crusaders, it is going to be Will Jordan, back in the lineup, and he did miss last week, so he'll be fresh to go for this game. And I think his pace will be a real problem for the Waratahs in trying to shut him down. And also the way that he joins the line will be very troubling for the Waratahs. But then the same could be said about the fact that if Noah Kwanitawasi gets in the right place, maybe he could get an interception from the Crusaders backline, which could cause a little bit of trouble in the defensive side of things. But nonetheless, those are the key players. So now I will be going with the score margin in this game. This one was a tough one to try and predict, because looking through at the two sides, there are so many Waratahs players that if they step up, this one could be a lot closer. But if the Crusaders play like they did up against the Rebels in that second half for the full 80 in this game, it could be a lot more one-sided. But for this game now, I have decided that the Crusaders, they are going to get the victory, and they are going to win it by 21. I have gone with in this matchup. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.